Today we'll be reacting to why gentle parenting isn't the answer either. Let's be honest. Chat. If you have kids or you plan on having kids in the future, are you planning on doing gentle parenting? Me personally, I've seen what gentle parenting does. No. Now, does that mean I'm going to abuse the fuck out of my kid? No. There's a fine little balance you gotta have. Like, I'm not going to be like Michael Jackson's father Joseph, where my kid fucking messed up on a fucking, because he didn't snap his fingers at this part of the song. I'm not going to get the belt out, obviously. But fuck you do something real bad, you deserve a whooping. I ain't gonna lie. If I catch you smoking weed at like 12, you're getting a whooping. I'm sorry. Wait until you're an adult. Feel me? But without further ado, I'm not a parent, so you raise your kids however you want to. Although I will say, seeing some of these clips, if you're doing a gentle parenting method, I think you might have to rethink that one. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Oh hey, can I tell y'all a story? I am literally afraid of my child. I honestly cannot get him to stop hurting me. Obviously the gentle no is not working. We're that couple who at restaurants, people
see here, this is what you gotta do here.
Obviously the gentle no.
You grab the hand. You look into them deep in your eyes. You do not hit nobody. And they keep doing it, well, me personally, I'm not putting hands on my daughter. But shit, if I have a kid, there's a woman in my life that could do that. Hey, wifey, mother, baby mama, hey, get that palm ready.
Is not working. We're that couple who at restaurants, people stare at and shake their heads. We don't know what we did wrong.
Shut your big mouth, I hate you.
I'm concerned our
see, so some parents will smack the kid.
Shake their heads. We don't know what we did wrong.
Shut your big mouth.
Or maybe, fuck it, we'll just go home. You know when you're driving and you're fucking having a rough time, and then your parents say, if you don't fucking quit the attitude, or whatever was going on, I will turn this car around and we will go home. And then they will shut us all up.
I hate you.
I'm concerned our gentle parenting has backfired, and perhaps our baby boomer parents were correct. We already know abusive, narcissistic parenting ain't the right way to raise a child.
Yeah,
but
of course. I am not co-signing that abusive nature. Hell no. But gentle parenting is the way either. It's a balance.
What we see here, it seems like the literal exact opposite of that isn't the answer either. But why? What are today's parents missing that's stopping kids from growing up to be normal? Let's look at 3 stories of
I ain't gonna lie, you're getting the bell right there.
Gentle parenting and find out why it's not working for most parents. And if we can save the next generation of kids before it's too late. In order to do that though, we need to learn how we got here in the first place. You know it's getting rough out here when having a good mom or dad is seen as a luxury. We can agree that no one's perfect, but does that give you the right to treat your children as if they're your property just because you gave birth to them? For pretty much all of human history, the default parenting style was pretty much the traditional authoritarian style, where, for lack of better terminology, you do what I say because I said so. No argument, no discussion, no reason as to why such and such rules are enforced. Nah, if you gave even the slightest disobedience, congratulations, you just invited yourself to a 3-way conversation. You, your mom, the belt. Unfortunately, this was normal for so long that instilling blind obedience in your child was synonymous with being a good parent. The problem with this, besides, raising a child soldier who's afraid to do anything because they're scared of being beaten or yelled at, is that it's actually possible for parents to take this a step further and abuse this style of parenting to feed their narcissistic and egotistical desires. How many stories of parents trying to live vicariously through their kids' successes, or mom belittling her kids to make herself feel better, do we need to hear? Or yelling or being unnecessarily cruel to their child for no other reason than they felt threatened or triggered in some way that has nothing to do with what the kid actually did. And good God almighty, look what came out of that. Low self-esteem, PTSD, general anxiety, people-pleasing. Are these the traits you want to instill in your children who you intend to grow up to be functional adults? However, let me take y'all back to the 2010s, because at this point, advancements in psychology has entered the world of parenting for well over a century now. And now those same kids are engaging in adulthood and toying with the idea of becoming parents themselves. Those same kids who are finally going to look back at how badly their own parents treated them and say, nah, I'm not going to do that. Thus, the concept of what the internet calls gentle parenting is born. As we can see, it did come from good intentions, where traditional parenting focuses on a punishment and reward.
I think there's moments where gentle parenting works, but there's also moments where it doesn't work.
System to teach kids the difference between good and bad. The goal is to use empathy, respect, and understanding to teach children appropriate behavior regulation and emotional discipline. Essentially, it would be like if you threw a tantrum as a child, even if it bordered on the line of disrespectful. Instead of your Caribbean parent grabbing old reliable, they take a moment to verbalize what the child might be feeling in the moment and explain to them why that behavior is harmful to them or others. You know, kind of like, Daddy sees that you're frustrated, so you threw your toy at your sister, but we don't throw toys at our sisters, okay? It hurts her. Let's think of other things.
Now!
Things we can do in the future when we're mad so we're not hurting anyone else, okay? And in theory, it should work, but not for Mushroom Typical 9549. Our 4-year-old daughter is creative, insanely confident, funny, sweet, and can't entertain herself, but well, she can also be controlling, demanding, and basically a little Napoleon. This is what we did. For her first 2 years, we didn't use the word no, only corrected her in the positive.
See, that was your problem. That was the problem. Sometimes you gotta say no. No.
We explain the reason for everything. We never simply say, we are your mom or dad and we say to do this. We almost always give her the freedom to do things alone, even though it tests our patience. When she did have tantrums, we gave her the space to feel her emotions and only empathized, not tried to correct anything. Fast forward 4 years, our daughter can be so terrible. There have been times where our daughter is at a restaurant on the floor crying. We really don't know what we did wrong. We feel like we followed all the books. The only discipline we have for her is the reflection corner with toys, books, and stuffies, which we use more for a space for her to calm down, but we don't know what we're doing wrong. Now, let us think this through. Because, according to her, she's doing everything right. Not saying no, giving them the space to express their feelings. But, for some reason, they can't understand why their daughter is acting like a menace. Well, it would be easy to blame gentle parenting as a whole, right? You know, the internet's already doing it. But there is something missing from her understanding of what gentle parenting actually is. As a matter of fact, there's something missing from my own definition that I gave to you guys not too long ago. Boundaries. The common misconception about gentle parenting from both users and deniers is that they believe that boundaries don't exist at all within the parenting side. The idea that you can just allow your child to do whatever they want at any time that they please. But I get it though, right? Like, I've seen enough TikToks of kids being gentle parented, and I get why from an outside perspective it looks like their home is a free-for-all. But in reality, what it's supposed to be the actual definition is that you're supposed to use empathy, respect, understanding, and boundaries to teach kids proper behavior. Oh, kid throwing a tantrum in public? That's cool. But shit behind going home though. Immediately, kid makes a mess and gets it on themselves? Great. Not only are you helping me clean this up, but now bath time's a few hours early. You throw a toy in my face? No more toys for the rest of the day. Children still need to know the difference between right and wrong, and that actions can have consequences. Not for some.
Like I said, what's so bad about this?
But now bath time's a few hours early. You throw a toy in my face? No more toys for the rest.
How is that not? That's abusive in a society, which I know it's not. No, people don't think of this as abuse. Come on, you tell me gentle parenting means, oh, you threw a toy at me, here's some, you can still play with your toys. No! They're confiscated! And a whooping. Nah, I'm joking.
So today, children still need to know the difference
If the right will, I'm not going to beat the kid for just throwing things. I am taking his toys away, though. Fuck.
between right and wrong, and that actions can have consequences. Not for some arbitrary power dynamic, but how else will they grow up to be functioning adults if they're given complete freedom to react however they want just because they're upset or frustrated? Have y'all ever met an adult man-child?
Screaming.
That's what they're going to turn into. They're going to turn into your Karens. They're going to be entitled. We've seen those already.
Falling to the floor, throwing things.
Don't raise your kids to act this way. It's okay to be frustrated, but they need to know there are consequences for behaving in a way that negatively affects other people. They're not the center of the universe. But you know what's crazy? There's actually something I want to prove, and that is that there's a lot of flack that gentle parenting gets that's rather misdirected. Sure, there's gentle parenting, but there's also permissive parenting. Both parenting styles, by definition, are gentle, but only one turns a toddler into Satan's greatest soldier. Permissive parenting is parenting with no structure, boundaries, or rules. They're highly responsive and affectionate to a child's emotions, but avoid conflict and discipline out of fear for their child not liking them or going into a tantrum.
Don't be shy, okay? There are no rules in this house. I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. Right, Regina? Please stop talking. Okay.
In theory, the good thing about gentle parenting, when done correctly, is that it's not just about setting consequences and rules for the sake of rules, but many times setting the boundaries, setting the consequences and rules before the act even happens. So if they ever break said rule, they're not confused as to why they're going home early or why their Nintendo Switch is in the broom closet all of a sudden, or sometimes even explaining why the rule they set is important and how it's for their benefit. You know, like, look, Daddy understands that you don't want to go to bedtime because you were having fun, correct? You were in the middle of playtime. But see, sleep is important. That way you can wake up tomorrow morning and have enough energy to go play some more tomorrow.
Fuck. I'm out of things to throw. Now!
What part of bedtime would you like Daddy to help you with? Oh, you wish Mommy were here? So do I, kid. But with permissive parenting, the parent oftentimes cares so much about building a friendship with their kid, being seen like the good guy, that they're scared to enforce even the most basic rules that are literally for their own kid's benefit and safety. If a kid is throwing a tantrum because they want to go to the store with you, but they don't want to put on their shoes, an authoritarian parent would have threatened the belt. A gentle parent would go, well, if you can't wear your shoes, you can't come to the store with us. A permissive parent? The child would have already been halfway to the store, bare toes to concrete. You can't really blame them though, not entirely at least. My theory is a lot of parents end up becoming permissive on accident, likely because they're so opposed to the authoritarian approach, wanting to leave the abusive approach behind, so desperately wanting to do the gentle approach, yet scared that they're gonna screw up, that they end up going so far to the other side of the spectrum that you actually end up being abusive again by being neglectful to their basic needs. Sure, those kids may grow up feeling very loved and very safe around their parents.
Like I said, there's a balance.
But they also grow up to have a lack of self-discipline, poor social skills, very self-involved and self-focused, and overall, very poor decision-making skills and emotional awareness. Something that Passion Choice 3538 unfortunately knows all too well. I think I'm failing my boys trying to gentle parent. I have 3 sons, 6, 6, and 2, and I really started researching gentle/positive parenting and trying to put it into practice around the time my twins were 2. However, I feel like by trying to constantly remember everything I've read/learned, I struggle in the moment, and I'm realizing I'm more of a permissive parent right now more than anything. I fall into the trap of letting them do things on their own timeline, and it's backfired. They still both suck their thumbs, they still need help in the bathroom, they still need me to lay with them every night to fall.
That's 6. Damn. That stuff.
fall asleep. They need help getting dressed and academically because we never pushed anything. I think they're pretty behind for kids their age. The biggest area I struggle in is discipline. I'm going to be so transparent, I have little to no idea how to do it. For example, when one of my kids pushes the toddler down or takes something from him, I don't know what to say or do. Because timeouts are viewed as ineffective, and that would be my go-to response, I just feel like I do nothing. I give the toddler another toy and don't discipline the culprit. I'm feeling like
What are they, 6? Man, if you don't get your palm ring and get that whooping, bro.
I'm just in no way doing my job as a parent right now. By doing research for this video, and by research, I mean Reddit. This is unfortunately something that I saw often, of parents trying so hard to do everything right under the framework of gentle parenting. They read all the books, watch all the videos, listen to all the podcasts. They have a general understanding of what they're supposed to be doing, but alas, in the heat of the moment, that's when their default setting comes to light. And they always find themselves on either side of the spectrum. When it actually gets to a point where they need to set consequences, they either default back to yelling, corporal punishment, or being unnecessarily aggressive, or giving into their demands, letting them do whatever they want to avoid another tantrum. And the child now doesn't believe that the behavior is wrong. And furthermore, all they need to do is threaten to act like a fool, and mommy and daddy will let them do what they want. The issue here is, the concept of gentle parenting is much more difficult than probably every other form of parenting out there. Both ends of the extreme just needs you to fall victim to whatever emotion you feel at the time, anger or fear. You try to communicate that you understand their feelings, why their frustrations are valid, but you feel the scene they're causing is erring too close to what's disrespectful. Or you're already so tired and yet another breakdown by your toddler is the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's technically easier just to exert your physical superiority and literally force them to do what you want them to do. Thinking, screw it, I'll just do what my parents did to me in this situation and pay for whatever therapy they need in the future. Or you're so tired and annoyed that you figure saying yes to whatever stupid thing they want in a moment is worth it for a good night's rest. But the problem here, obviously, is how many times are you going to allow that behavior to happen until it becomes a learned habit? And let's say you do slip up. Is it accurate to believe you're going to be confident the next time you find yourself in a similar situation? Or will you freeze and go back to your default? Unfortunately, this isn't an issue that's exclusive to gentle parenting, but a lot of the parenting styles people make the decision to commit themselves to, they find themselves pigeonholed, caring more about whether or not what they're doing fits within the rulebook. Analysis paralysis. You're so afraid of making the wrong choice that you end up making no choice, and you'll keep blaming yourself for doing it wrong. Almost as if you care more about fitting within the rules of a parenting criteria than you do about actually parenting. I think the issue here is obvious. And it's not entirely the parents' fault, because they want to do right by their child, but struggle with the idea that it's not the end of the world if they don't follow the exact framework that one Reddit comment said, especially when there isn't anything that explicitly states how to appropriately give consequences. But from what I've seen of the gentle parenting world, it's more conversational than the other styles, because, for example, if your child were to hit another child, the consensus of most gentle parents are to immediately separate and remove your child from the area. But explain why what they did was hurtful and not okay. Ask why they did it and talk about how they could handle that situation differently in the future. Framing it not as a punishment, but as a way to protect the other kid because they made them upset, and allowing your child to wrestle with that. Again, this won't work though unless you as a parent come to terms with the fact that you'll never really know the answer when fitting into a parenting style matters more to you than making sure your child is prepared for the consequences of real life. But I get it. Most of us didn't grow up with a gentle parent, so we don't know what one looks like. Which takes us to Super Cryptographer 72. Can anyone else relate to how insanely hard it is to gentle parent when you were raised in an environment that was the opposite of everything you're trying to do? Nothing like gentle parenting to bring to light that I myself have awful coping mechanisms for my own intense emotions. I was spanked and hit and constantly belittled and yelled at growing up. Kids were seen and not heard. Kids' feelings and thoughts.
I'll say this again. I don't think yelling at your kids abusive, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Now, if you're just calling your kid you're a fucking little fucking brat, loser ass bitch, okay, yeah. No. But if they're causing tantrum, I'm yelling at them. I'm sorry, I am.
Didn't matter. Obedience was key, and my parents beat that into me. I have no issues understanding big emotions and meltdowns that kids have and understanding why they're doing what they're doing. But my patience is so thin when I'm alone and one-on-one trying to navigate hard moments to be the parent my kid deserves. Piggybacking off of story 2, story 3 is the one that ties this all together. For most people who attempt to gentle parent, they're literally going against their own nurture. It's foreign to you as someone who's raised on the literal opposite side of the spectrum. Imagine trying to gentle parent your kid after they do something where if you did the same thing, you would have gotten that 2-piece wombo combo by your mom. As one Reddit comment pointed out, seeing your kid do things that you used to be punished for as a child literally triggers your nervous system and puts you back in that exact same state. We live in a world where people are trying to do better than their own parents, but struggle because it's so far outside societal norms. So, is the issue really with gentle parenting exclusively, or is the problem trying to fight against tradition and find the best way to do that? And honestly, I get it. Besides, the baseline difficulty of literally raising another human being, if there's one thing kids have mastered and perfected to a science, it's rage bait.
It's not your birthday, boys. It's Marion's birthday.
Is she gonna spit on me this time?
Yes.
Hey, give me this. Messiah. How did you get this? I'm finna whoop you.
No, turn that hot dog down. The fuck? You ruined the cupcakes. And you're over here going, I died! Shut up.
I swear to God, there are some TikToks I found on people's kids where I feared that level of rage bait would have affected me. On top of the fact that it's already embarrassing and awkward for lots of parents to have their toddler throw a tantrum in public, especially in settings where lots of people are watching, all those eyes you perceive as judging you. Maybe you think, they must think I'm a bad parent because I can't get my child under control. In those moments, it's easy to revert back to the ancient techniques your mom instilled in your DNA, but that's when the deeper conversation gets started. What work can be done to unpack whatever prior traumas you have in your childhood, so you know why it's easy for you to get so triggered when your kid does something wrong. You don't want to slip up just because it's easier and less awkward to act fast in the moment than do what you know is right. But that poses another problem though. Is there such a right thing as the right way to parent someone? Isn't it crazy how there's so many rule books on parenting, podcasts, YouTube videos, and yet there's not a single one that can teach you how to raise your kids specifically? The pattern with all three of these stories is emulative as to why gentle parenting is not the answer to toxic parenting either. Because forcing yourself to stick to one style in every scenario for every child you have isn't the answer to effective parenting. Ironically, diversifying your parenting styles and being flexible to what makes sense in the moment, even specifying it per child, is way better than being gung-ho on finding one right way. Now, that doesn't mean throw the entire book at them and constantly switching styles just because, but hey, it's about remembering the big picture, huh? Yeah. If mom is more prone to nurturing, she could help teach you empathy and emotional intelligence. If dad is more prone to structure, he can teach you responsibility and proper discipline. Because at the end of the day, it's not about whose parenting style is right or wrong. It's about what type of adult do you want your child to grow up to become? And if that adult is a multifaceted person, wouldn't that require a multifaceted approach? But hey, what do I know? I'm not a parent. But if me telling you that is enough for you to discount this entire video, then I mean, I guess, bro.
Yeah. I don't know why. W video, I think that's a great way to describe on gentle parenting. I mean, like I said, I'm not a parent. You raise your kids however you think is best. You feel me? I feel like you just it's a balance. You gotta find a balance. Not everything needs a bell, but not everything is, oh sweetie, you know what you did wrong? Because then they'll do this. No! I hope y'all enjoyed that video. And I will see y'all later.